Ethiopian, me na British, go tell them. Grrrrama wheat, etegremenen. Hamarina kwanka fidel teach my children. Them teach me English, Amharic is my preference. When my height son, my black my reverence. About touching no, I best my ye me nor. See me, ye can desmen gish teeth him ta. Before the best my ye in the one chin the ube me dear. Tihun ye let in jara chinin. Satin zare. Kai mo is sat, it hot. Lion voice, one voice, and the lion voice. Time for the lion and the lioness voices to be heard. Log in and don't log off. Lion voice, Queasy, one. Lion voice, I hit.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. But people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lamb's voice. Now put it, I Jollifer said that.
This is Sanky Davis. It's time for the lion to Ika. For unity is strength. Let us come together, my brethren and sisters, and forward to the motherland. Enough love. This is the lion's voice.
Haile.
Jah
Rastafari.
I'm Nana Faraka. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Well, great is the Almighty, and greatly to be praised in the city of Haile Selassie I, the mountain of His holiness.
Yeah, from Cape to Cairo, from Timbuktu to the Nile, you know, the whole entire continent.
Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, from Accra to Addis Ababa.
Yes, it's a beautiful continent, better control, mama.
Very beautiful.
From Cape to Cairo, from Timbuktu to the Nile, I smile for mama.
I hear you call Mama Africa. Been so long since I see Mama. Father of Africa set the law. The lion come and dismantle Babylon flaw. We gonna use solar energy, use sanitation to build the ecology. We utilizing green technology. We hailing Haile Selassie first without apology. And then
The year is 1892, and the land of Ethiopia has been experiencing 4 years of terrible famine and drought. They call it the Kikuken, or the evil days. At least 1/3 of the human population and 90% of the cattle have died. The hyenas have feasted on so many carcasses that they have become overweight and barely able to move. Just when the people could take no more of the evil days, a woman named Wasiro Yeshimabe is giving birth in a place called Erjersa Gora. This is her 9th attempt to bring forth new life. Her previous 8 attempts only resulted in deaths. Will this child live? Thankfully, a healthy baby boy is born. His first cries are drowned by thunder and lightning flashes across the night sky. The heavens open up and torrential rain starts to fall. Ethiopia's drought is over, and the baby boy is given the name Tafari, meaning one to be feared or respected. Tafari's father, Ras McCunnan, is a very important man in 1892 Ethiopia. Although he is overjoyed at the birth of his newborn son, he cannot spend much time with him. Ras McCunnan is the governor of Harar and must get back to the famous walled city to deal with its affairs. Furthermore, he is the foreign minister of Ethiopia, and having traveled to different places in Europe, he is very aware of the material and military advances they have made and the looming threats they pose to his country. Ras McCunnan knows that the majority of Ethiopians have no idea what is coming, and that he has to work that much harder to secure the realm. Tafari would grow up to become the legendary emperor, Haile Selassie I. To understand his journey, we must first understand the Ethiopia that he was inheriting, and what it was like when he was born in 1892. Get your copy of Kwesi Bansu's book, Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1, The Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings, and increase your knowledge about the history, politics, and culture of Ethiopia in 1892, and how it connects to the rest of African and world history at the time. Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1 is available for purchase at www.bookmanexpress.pub. Please visit for more information.
Are you ready for an adventure? We're going to Kwanzaa Land,
where the 7 principles of Kwanzaa come to life.
Join Malcolm, Asa, and Ya as they learn Umoja, unity, Kujichagulia, self-determination, and more about our beautiful culture.
We can't wait for you to join us. Bring your family and friends. Let's go to Kwanzaa Land! See you in Kwanzaa Land!
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwesi Bansu, aka the Chasmatch Kwesi, aka Ras Kwesi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney. I'm an author. I'm an artist. I'm an actionist. And right now, I am the host of Lion Talk Live. Welcome to Lion Talk Live, and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own story. Tonight, we have an epic episode. World War III is raging. We see the fall of Syria, total collapse of the society, government mash up. What are the people doing? Where are they finding their food? That means a grocery store don't have no food on shelf. This is the time we're living in. I've been sounding the trumpet here for many days, and I put up a community post. How many people saw the fall of Syria? You know what I mean? How many people saw that move on the chessboard for those of I and I that watch the global chessboard to see how it correlates to the prophecy and where we're at? We never saw that move there. You know what I mean?
but it brings up the question of food security, food sovereignty. You know what I mean? Because in a disaster or in a crisis, how do we eat? How are we going to sustain ourselves? You're talking about battlefield, you're talking about war, you're talking about all these things. If you don't have food, what you're going to do? This is the reasoning. I put up a post, a community post that said, ask, do you think Rastafari is ready to sustain itself off the grid in the event of a global catastrophe? Big up everyone who voted in. And for those who don't know, if you go to the page on YouTube and you scroll across the menu at the top of the Lion Voice Network page, there's a tab that says Community. Click on that tab. We have polls up there. We give updates on the episodes, different things happening. But I put up a poll, and I was surprised that almost an equal amount of people said that Rastafari is ready, and then Rastafari is not ready. My honest opinion, as being one of the frontline organizers in the movement, globally connected, I will say Rastafari is not ready, family. And this is what we are going to talk about, the reality. I'm not a fantasy operator, even though I'm in the media. I don't deal with fantasy, although I'm writing a fantasy book right now, and we're going to talk about that later. But if I'm dealing with fantasy, I'm going to tell the people. But right now, I don't feel Rastafari is ready for a catastrophe. In most of our regions, we may have individual communities that are ready. And if you think you're part of one of those communities, drop a comment, because I would love to interview the eye and see what preparations the item have made collectively. I know probably individuals have, their stores, emergency supplies, plans, and these things. But as a collective, I would say we're not ready. And we're going to talk about, again, the key, food sovereignty. But before we get into tonight's guest, Elder, we're getting a master class. So if you don't have your ital snacks, your sacrament, whatever you need, just get ready for full joy. This is going to be one of those ones that we talk about. We're shifting the culture, with this platform. And this is one of the guests that's going to help us to shift the culture forward to the original Rastafari, which was, Leonard Howell and, the agrarian society, agribusiness. We started an agribusiness foundation with Leonard Howell. And right now, I have been working, nonstop to try to ensure that we return to that foundation, because a people who can feed itself can free itself. If you cannot feed yourself as a population, you can never be free. The hand that feeds you is the hand that controls you. So these are the realities. But before we go there, tonight, let me see where we are. Tonight's episode is special. Tonight's episode is special because we are almost at 16,000, and I'm going to check and see if we're at 16,000. Hold on one second. Producer, can you go to the door for you and get the thing there? All right. We're going to check and see where we are. We're at 15,993 subscribers. Can you believe it, family? So during this broadcast, and I'll keep the ones them up to speed, where we are, we're going to hit 16,000 subscribers in the Lion Pride. This is a mighty strength. We started humbly, and we're still a small channel. Don't get me wrong. We're still a very small channel, a humble channel. But 16,000 people in the Lion Pride family. I want the item clap up yourself. Clap up yourself. Yeah, man, the item deserve that, because not I. I'm just the curator, but it's the item who have made this possible, that we will hit 16,000. We're doing 1,000 new subscribers every strong. We are the fastest growing Rastafari independent news media platform on the planet. And it's because of the item tuning in. The word sound is getting out about the live broadcast as well. So give thanks for the live, those of you who watch the lives. hundreds more who watch it on the replay. But we're building something special here. The comments in the comment section are increasing. Everything on the channel is really bubbling. So I want to big up everyone who has made this possible. Let me take time to big up my economic engine, which is the Lion Pride on Patreon. We have 26 people in the Lion Pride on Patreon who have contributed monthly. And I want to just take time to say I love the item. I give thanks for the item. Even though you hear me calling for more people to join the item, I don't want to neglect the ones who quietly have just been giving their contribution month after month to ensure that this thing move forward. This is not easy. This is hours of editing. This is hours of sitting with interviews. This is calling, planning. It's taken over I and I whole life, but it's I and I calling at this time. And to make it sustainable, we need the economic strength of the family. So I give thanks, and I get comments, I get emails, I go out in public, people come up and talk to I when I go to cultural events and tell I how much they value the platform. So I'm just asking a fraction of those people. If we have 1% of 16,000 that support the channel financially, then we are somewhere. Support the channel, $5, $10, the cup of coffee that you buy for $5, you can spend that for 1 month and support Rastafari Independent Non-Aligned Media. We set a goal of 100 people in the Patreon by January 1st. Right now, I said we're at 26. Well, we fluctuate between 24, 26. Right now, we're actually at 24. I say 26 because we have a couple of people, they come in, they come out. You know what I mean? The Lion Pride on Patreon is faithful, but we overstand sometime. Something may happen. You miss a month, your bank, the funds them not there. We overstand all of that. You know what I mean? That's why I tell them I love them, and we give thanks for that, for those who support. But for the wider family, we're just saying support Rastafari Independent Non-Aligned Media. And if you don't want to support go and support other platforms. You have Ija Star, you have Honorable Priest Isaac, you have Honorable Priest Kalesh, you have so many more. Yard Radio, you know what I mean? Yard Real, you have so many Rastafari Independent Non-Aligned platforms. Big up also I Never Knew TV, Pan-African platform. Go support one of them. If you don't want to spend with but in this Armageddon time when we need good information, factual information, we need to value it and we need to invest our dollars and support. So we're asking 75 of the item who are watching this program, and we're going to get well over 75 watching, to just say, listen, I'm going to make a militant stand with the brethren. I'm going to support the brethren vision, because we as Rastafari and Pan-African people deserve first class, first rate media. I don't want to always be doing this from my gates. We want to build a studio on the continent and be able to have a world-class Rastafari apparatus. This is one way that a people demonstrate its power, its soft power. That's by media. So we have to build our own media complex, media apparatus. This is something that we need as Rastafari, to tell our own stories on a major scale. This is the vision. And by joining the Lion Pride on Patreon, you become part of making that vision a reality. We're using the crowdfunding model because we understand that depending on sponsors means that they also set your agenda for your platform, and we're not into that. You know what I mean? The audience will be accountable to our Lion Pride, So big up the Lion Pride, big up the Ubuntu Lion Pride. $50 US and above gets you into the Ubuntu Lion Pride up to January 1st. After January 1st, it's going to be $70 to be a member of the Ubuntu Lion Pride. So this is a good time, particularly for our small businesses. Get your name up there, growing platform. Get that name recognition, the branding for your small business for a one-time cost. And the Ubuntu Lion Pride don't change. So once you go over that threshold, you're just Ubuntu Lion Pride. You know what I mean? No monthly, nothing. So $50 and above until January 1st. After January 1st, it's going to 70 because the channel is growing. And that is how the thing moves. Big up the Action Lion Pride. If you like, subscribe, and share, then you are part of the Action Lion Pride. You don't have $1 to contribute. We still value your contribution because the Action Lion Pride is who is making this channel grow by spreading the word, getting it out there. And then we big up the Watch and Peep, the watchers, the angel who are just watching silently. We're almost hitting 30,000 views every 28 days, which phenomenal. So a lot more people watching the content than subscribing. And we give thanks for all of the watchers in the Lion Pride who watch, subscribe, watch, but don't comment, don't share. Big up yourself, same way. The peepers, you come just to see how we pop down. You don't like it, but you can't stop watch because it's something that's happening. You're not doing anything, so you watch what we are doing. Big up yourself, same way, because I mean, people is part of every organization, every ecosystem have the peepers. If you don't have haters or bad mind people, you're not doing anything impactful. So just know that's part of it. If His Majesty have them, who are we? You know what I mean? It's going to be part. I choose to big them up because what we are going to do. You know what I mean? They're going to meet their own fate. But we're not going to spend time on them. Big up Ramia King Design. If you see me sipping during the episode, you know, say Ramia King Design, Rastlage, the tumblers, you send them an email. They ship all over the United States. You can do that. CMAS Life, big up yourself. Same way, the greatest CMAS drink I've ever tasted. Big up Ras Xola, CMAS Life. All of the people who make this possible. And give thanks for the item, for your patience. I have to go through this part because without the economic development, then you know the works is not sustainable. So give thanks for everyone watching live for your patience as I go through this. It's for the item who are watching live, but it's also for those who will watch the replay. We need that financial strength. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everything Isla. We need to hit our mark 100 in the Patreon by January 1st. So join us and let's make history. All right, housekeeping out of the way. Let's get into tonight's topic and tonight's guest. We have one of the most powerful episodes here because without food, family, everything where you do don't matter. This is foundation, this is groundation, and this elder, Naya Bingi elder, hailing out of Guyana, grounded there in Toronto, Canada, has become a pillar in the food, urban agriculture movement, food sovereignty movement. And we're going to find out today the difference between food security and food sovereignty. So this elder, I'm honored to know him. I'm honored to be reasoning with him, to be working with him on different projects and things behind the scenes. So it's our honor to bring forward Ancient of Days, Ras Xola. Welcome to the Lion Voice, Rastafari. Blessing, blessing, blessing.
Thanks, give thanks, give thanks.
Rastafari. Can I turn the screen this way?
Okay. I try and set up. I was looking for my mic.
Yes, you see it there? Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay. All right.
Bingi.
All right, Rastafari.
How's
the song?
The song beautiful.
Glory to song, glory to word, and glory to the power of the Most High. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for a night to dwell together in love and unity. It's like the precious ointment upon thy head, and even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, as the Judas, I send it from the mountains of Zion, for they the Almighty, Kadamari Haile Selassie, commanded the blessing and even life for evermore, for I and I. Rastafari, Kadamari Haile Selassie and Empress Menen in a balance, one perfect love. I give thanks to the Almighty. I give thanks to the Irish survivor ancestors who come tonight today asking for your guidance and your wisdom and support as we begin this meetup. Help our night to engage in meaningful reasoning and allow our night to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. As the I chant pinnacle, the intentional, original Rastafari community. Very important, and I call these places and these times, because this show, very, very important, man. And it's very important that we come out of our pocket to make sure that this show, the Lion Voice Network, the Lion Talk, continue. Very important. We don't have a lot, but what we have to support. As His Majesty said, we must become bigger than we ever been. How we can become bigger is when we support each other.
As is.
We gotta be intentional about this work. As Yai said, Yai asked if we're ready. Are we ready? I like Yai. I don't think we're ready. We're not ready.
We're not ready, King.
We gotta be more intentional. As Majesty said, we have to become bigger than we have ever been. More courageous. More courageous. We have more courage. And the courage is loving each other and respecting each other and supporting each other. It's not a joke thing, you know. Marcus Garvey said, I never know I myself until I back against the wall. It's like when you get in a plane crash and we are all surviving. White, black, Chinese, whatever. It's one accord. But I in the time, we ain't got to wait for that. We have to do what we need to do right now. We have to be courageous right now. Greater in iris, larger in outlook. We got to do the things originally like pinnacle. We got to go back to these intentional communities.
Before we do that though, Elder, the tradition here at the Lion Talk Live is that we're going to ask that to step into our Lion Talk time machine and take us to the moment of their birth and give us their story in terms of where they was born and their journey to healing Rastafari.
Aye. Give thanks. Give thanks, my brother. Yes, Anan Ras Xola. I hail from the north coast of the Amazon rainforest. The north coast of the Amazon rainforest in a place called Guyana. They also call it the land of many waters. It have real many waters. From the Amazon in the south, right round to the Orinoco, very large rivers, feeding off of the Amazon. I was born in Georgetown, Guyana. It is 50 years now I'm on trading as Rastafari.
Okay.
50 years, and I give thanks. I really give thanks to sighting that light. Just as I forward past 21, actually, I'm in a family, father and mother, both musicians. I have 3 other brothers, all musicians, come from a very musical family. I know ones out there might know my brother, who I like to call the God sent, the angel, Ras Iwata Ama Selassie.
Aye.
Rastafari.
Aye.
Forward to Toronto around 1977. And in this land from that time to this time. Journeying forward to Guyana very often because I'm on in the current in the Bingi community in Guyana. So I give thanks. I come on here, I play music. I never really worked really in a Babylon up here for these 50 years. I give thanks for that. So I know a lot of There's got to go and work with people and them. And as Rastafari, yeah, Bonnie G said this, we have to do self-help. We have to be intentional. You know what you're saying? We're talking about Rastafari sovereignty.
Yes.
Rastafari is a sovereign people. Self-help. We don't have to depend on more people. We used to farm, we used to play music, and we used to sell ganja. And with our power up here in Canada, marijuana is legal. It's legal in Canada, and it's the power of Rastafari in Canada. We could take our liberty in this place and say we're a part of the legalization. I plant 10 trees in my backyard this year.
Wow.
And any community in this country here could plant about 10 trees in the backyard. And they're locking people up all over the Caribbean and all in Africa and all in different places. And this place making billions of dollars. Anyway, let me get back to the point of my tradition. The music, I give thanks, truths and rights. Truths and rights without no apology. We create history in this place. Forward to GT, late 80s, do live in the countryside because I want my son to get somebody who was born up here, Takaya, Tafari, get some of Guyana, trot forward, and we trot forward around 1990. Went to school, studied business, graduated with business administration. The idea at that time, because I was into music, and I have been an italist since 1975, or even earlier. So I give thanks for that too.
How old is the I now, Ella?
Next year, gonna be 70.
Okay.
So most of my life, over 50 years up here in this Babylon, close to that. And so, trotting through now, I graduate business administration, and because I was so much into the music and so much into the Ital liberty, I said, all right, Ras, you can set up an Ital restaurant with a bar. And it can be Ital food and music. Because I know that. I travel all over Western Canada, even travel down to the US to play at the Jazz Festival, play in Buffalo, play in Detroit, play in Rochester, New York.
Okay. What was the name of the band? The
name of the band was Truths and Rights. You look on it and you can see Truths and Rights. Metro number one problem, Black Plight. They have a couple of videos that you could bring up if you need to.
Yeah, man, we're going make the people of Lion Pride go and Google Truth and Rights reggae band.
Truth and Rights reggae band. That's right. Yes. Now, I have a version in America, but you want the original version that Johnny has won't talk about. Run, come, Truths and Rights. That's an inspiration up here, you know.
Okay.
That music there, Johnny Asmo used to live in Toronto.
Okay.
A good while when I come out here, he used to play in the band in Aishan people. Okay. He was the front man before he go home and become a big star. Truths and Rights. So, the idea was to set up this Ital bar and do what they're doing right now across Toronto. Have these marijuana dispensaries.
Mm-hmm.
Club would be able to be a dispensary, a nightclub, and an Ital bar. But when I graduate and I come out of school, that's some funding from the government, the provincial government, $50,000 to start any project you need to start. And I say, you know what? I got to look for the money to set up this restaurant and blah, blah, blah. I say, you know what? Let me take a chance. I write the proposal and I got the funds, $50,000. And that began the Black food sovereignty journey.
Okay.
It started as a food
Hold
bank.
on. Stick up in. Where did you learn to farm? What? Because I want, when you're giving this journey, I want people to know the pedigree of the elder. There is not just someone who talk about the theory. You have your hand in the dirt. When did you learn to farm? Where did
when
that
did I learn to farm?
Yes.
I got into gardening in Toronto here. I'm a sister at the time. She used to garden in our backyard, and it
Yes.
motivated me. So even in the Truths and Rights time, it was gardening in the backyard.
Okay.
And then when we go down to Guyana in the late 80s, they get the fullness. Because I had a nice big backyard in the countryside. And we used to farm up the whole yard. The whole yard used to be full of food. So when I come on here now, and we started the African Food Basket. Remember that name?
Yes.
African Food Basket.
Well known in Toronto.
Well known in Toronto. And we got the opportunity to get the funds, and it was a food buying club because Black people, especially from the Caribbean, we was purchasing the most expensive foods, and we had the lowest income. Because you're from Jamaica, you want yellow yam, you want sweet potato, you want callaloo. Callaloo was about $3 a pound in them time there.
Wow.
While spinach was like 78, 75 cents a pound. 75 cents a bunch. So we're not spinach people, we're callaloo people, all through the Caribbean. Okay. So we decided to make sure we can make this food cooperative for the community at an affordable price. So we had access to a warehouse, and we used to purchase the food in bulk and distribute it all over Toronto City. We even used to go in some of the suburbs. All right. I went to a conference in 96 at a university, and this university will come back in this conversation again.
Yes.
It's to call it Ryerson, but it's now Toronto Metropolitan University.
Okay.
And I hear this, it was a conference on food, and I hear this brother talking about community food security. I said, well, who was this community? So, I did a little research, and I started to learn what is food security. And I get the understanding is that food security is about people having access to affordable, nutritious food to make them have a healthy life. We can get forward to that also.
Yes.
Now, but this was community food security, because food security usually is mostly, it's a United Nations mandate for the world. It started being focused after the Second World War, when Europe was damaged, and they want to make sure they bring them back to, bring it back to life as quickly as possible. So they dedicate a certain amount of funds and the concept of having access to food. All right, fast forward, 1995, 94, this group in California was a coalition of food security groups called the Community Food Security Coalition. So they come to the conference, and this brother named Andy Fisher, kind of a hippie brother. He sit down and he got the lotus foot pose and sit down on the desk. And so when he started reasoning out what is community food security, I said, I said, whoa, that sounds good. I said, you know what? I think we can move on from the food co-op into food security, because food security is not just delivering food. Food security is growing food, is nutrition, is a wide area, is youth programs. So after that, the next year, we got access to a quarter acre of land in the countryside in Ontario. And try something new. As the executive director, I get the opportunity to work with some young people. We went and planted a quarter acre of garlic.
Okay.
And I could still say it's one of the easiest things to grow, and one of the most hardy, because pests don't like garlic. Okay. Some pests attack garlic if you grow it in the wrong way, if you leave it in the ground too much.
Yes.
But when you know what to do, you don't have to worry about pests. So we were able to go in the countryside, and we get some help from the folks who own the farm, and we plant a quarter acre of garlic. very historic. Back in the city, we realized, you know what? We could do urban agriculture too. We get into growing food because the idea now, we still delivering the baskets every month. The idea now is to see what we could grow from what we putting in the baskets. And the first thing we realized we could grow is callaloo. And callaloo was one of the most expensive leaf vegetable at the time in Caribbean stores and in Asian stores. $3 a pound compared to spinach, next to nothing.
Yes, yes.
I was a little hesitant at first because I know the farmers in Jamaica depend on sending the callaloo up here.
Yes.
But I used to always go callaloo in my backyard. But growing on a commercial basis now would impact the Jamaican farmers because we put them out of business. So I was a little hesitant. But then I started to realize the impact of global warming, of food traveling, we call food miles. Because that callaloo come from Jamaica on a plane. And I started saying, you know what? We have to grow this callaloo here. The Jamaican farmers got to do what they got to do and survive. Because right now, black people from over 185 different countries, over 200 something languages, over 200 something ethnic groups live here. Black people who ain't going forward, some of them ain't going forward. We got generations, the fastest growing population in Canada, over 40% is black youths who born and grow in Canada.
Really?
That's right. They're gone, they're gone, They just not going to reach 60%, okay, of the nearly 2 million black people who live in this country. So we got to be real. We got to grow what we got to grow. Soon we can be growing teff, okay, because the large Ethiopian population, the large Eritrean population up here. So that's when we're talking about food sovereignty. Anyway, we started what we call community garden animation. And without no apologies, the African Food Basket was the organization. And we work intentionally in low-income communities like Jane and Finch, Lawrence Heights, Regent Park.
These communities, this would be like Trenchtown, Rima, Backto.
That's right. That's right.
For my Jamaican followers, these are Canada's ghetto areas. I grew up in Canada.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? I just want to share that with the family.
And for the folks in America, it's public housing.
It's public housing, yes.
And in England, I know they have a name for them in England too.
America, they call it the projects.
The projects.
These
That's
are
right. So
areas.
So because we realized we wanted to make sure the food reached the most vulnerable. Okay, so that they could complement their income, they could grow their own food, and they could grow the food they like from where they come from, as long as they could grow within this 4 months from May to October, they're good. Okay. A lot of people think up in Canada is in the North Pole, Canada's not in the North Pole, Canada's grow billions of food, $1 billion of food in this country. You got to be skilled and you got to be ready. In that 4 months, you got to do your thing. Okay? You can get the mango tree or the banana tree, but any leaf, vegetables and beet and carrots, and you could do well. And they do well. All right. So we started doing a lot of urban agriculture programs, school gardens, backyard gardens, community gardens, and church gardens. Master that. And I could salute myself because I was the Field Marshal General. Okay? I did a master's in the environmental studies and focus on food security and urban agriculture. So I make it a science of going in them communities. And in no time, bim, bam, bap, garden set up.
This is crucial because one of the visions that we have here at the Lion Voice Network, big up Life Yard in Jamaica I'm going to connect the item with this elder too. Big up Habisha. You know, I'm a board member of Habisha. But one of the visions as we go into Africa is transforming the slums into gardens, you know. We call it garrison to garden for Jamaica, or ghettos to gardens for America, slums to sanctuary for the African continent, because and I have that unique knowledge. So I just want people to know when we talk about things on this platform, Rastafari, His Majesty has risen up the workers already. All we need really is the funding and the vision, but continue.
Yes. And as Majesty said, it's a new race. We gotta be courageous. These things I could tell you with the simplicity. We just need to do it.
Yes.
As the I said, some people just sit down and they ain't doing nothing. You could do it, you know.
I started a media company because I didn't see it, you know what I mean, the way I wanted to see it. So I just started. I didn't have any experience or anything. We just consistency. You just start and things will happen, you know what I mean? As you say, we have to just move right now. Action time.
The leadership. One of the important programming that we do from the beginning is what we call cultivating youth leadership. From 96 till presently, we always work with young people, whether we get funding or we don't get funding, because the continuation of this is work very important. You know, I mean, I surprised, man, that the Bingy Grums in Jamaica have farms. You know, I really surprised, because we need to really research Leonard Howell, you know, the original gang.
Yes,
we need to look at them. There's the models. That's the models that we need to look at. The intentional community. The real test for I is living together. We gotta break that seal. We gotta live together, farm together. We're surprised to see the magic that come out in them communities. Okay? We got to try them. We got to start small and keep building. Right now, I'm on a mission for the Bingy House in Guyana, but we live on the land and thrive off the land. 800 acres. We have to do it. So, back to Toronto.
Yes.
So, we got the opportunity to work with some young people, and we got access to an acre of land in Toronto at a place called the Black Creek Farm.
Okay.
And that was the beginning of the real farming, the commercial kind of farming, but still as a training ground for the young people. We have access to another farm in the suburb of Toronto called the city of Brampton. We got 2 acres of farm, 2 acres to farm. And we start what I think is most important for Black people. Most important for Rastafari is what we call incubator farms, learning farms, where we farm together collectively, learn the skills of farming from field to harvest to post-harvest to market, okay? So that we have the knowledge of farming. Like a lot of Rastas I know, especially in Guyana, so they're going to bust a piece of land. We passed busting a piece of land. We setting up farms, proper farms, with the right financial knowledge, with the right skills in farming, the right marketing, okay, the right added value products within the farming too. So we got the opportunity to set up incubator farms. One time we were engaging over 20 farmers. On 2 acres.
What year was this? What year was this when you Black Creek?
That was around 2007, 2008, 2009. We stayed till about 2012. At that same time, we had 2 locations. We had the Toronto acre and we had 2 acres in Brampton.
Okay.
And eventually, the folks who were managing the Brampton, for some reason, they couldn't manage. This was 25 acres. And they shut down. And we stay back in Toronto. And up to now, we have the acre in Toronto.
Okay.
Growing food and training young people. Fast forward to the COVID. we started growing the food. And in them time there, you know, borders close off, this close off, this close off. The farm come like a savior because we were able to grow food and distribute the food for free, just like we wanted to do when we start the original food basket.
Yes.
We finally got the opportunity to grow food and put into the basket. And we're doing that right now. It's a combination of purchased food from like the Caribbean, Africa, and Mexico, and food that we grew at the farm, especially garlic and callaloo. We got kale, we got Swiss chard, and a few other things, a few other herbs. So the idea of the incubator farm and the learning farm is very important. We get in knowledge.
Crucial.
The farming is about knowledge, you know. The farming is like anything else. We need to have the knowledge, the crop plan, the farm plan, you know, and so that because farming is an occupation from forever. You know what I mean? It's generations and generations. And white folks in the countryside they always talk about this it's a 5th-generation farmer. It's a 6th-generation farmer. They capture the land, and you know, and that's what it do because it have a science to it and it have a tradition. You know, yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Farmers have to be scientists. They have to be business people. They have to wear so many hats, you know. So, you know, one of the things that I want to do with this platform and that we're doing with the Association of Rastafari Creatives as well is rebranding the farmer. You know, we want to reorient the movement to recognize the farmer as the pinnacle. Every Rastafari man, you know what I mean, should honor, you know, if you're not a farmer yourself, the farmer should get the honor, you know what I mean, because as Baba Duno say, I see Ras Maisha, big up yourself, say, no culture without agriculture, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Very crucial, you know what I mean? So this is our mission. All right, so I wanna talk to the eye about you gave a definition of food security, and the elder also has a PowerPoint, so we're gonna do a presentation. We're going deep tonight, family. So if you don't have your ital snack, your sacrament, whatever you need to fully connect with the divine principle, we're going to be diving into this whole food sovereignty concept tonight. But I want to set the stage. Before we do that, let me just welcome in some of the Lion Pride. We have Ibi Lion checking in. Big up Ibi Lion. He's a priest in the Orthodox Church. If you haven't seen Ibi Lion episode, go check it out. Big up yourself, Ibi Lion. The Brethren, Atlanta Lion Pride family checking in. Big up yourself, the Brethren. Royal greetings. Van Rick Pope, big up yourself. Van Rick, regular Lion Pride family checking in. Hale Roots joining for the first time from Toronto, Canada, to hear more from the elder Bingi Ras Xola. Big up yourself, Lessa Medellin. Royal greetings to the eye, perfect love, Toronto family. And I grew up in Scarborough, you know what I mean? So it's special for I didn't know the elder when I was living in Canada, but I always love connecting with Canada family. Haile Selassie only have one begotten son, King Emmanuel. All right, until the Rastas understand this, we will not come to the truth. Okay, the King Emmanuel reasoning you come with tonight, Ras. Big up yourself. Tonight we're talking about agriculture though. Could be a little pan or car tire, fill it with dirt. Guerrilla gardening is a must also. I love that sound. Big up yourself, Ras Maisha. Pittsburgh family checking in. All model cars say all praises to the Most High, Jah Rastafari. West Coast family checking in. Yes, Lion Pride coming. We have our elder Ras Xola here from Canada, live from Toronto. And tonight's topic is food sovereignty, the path to African liberation. We are in a global war. You're fooling yourself if you think you're not going to feel the impact. Are we ready? The elder says no. I said no. But we're gonna talk about why we're not ready and what we need to do to get ready, because we're not helpless. We're lions come to conquer. We're not lambs to the slaughter. Talk to us. Give us the definition of what is food security.
Food security refers to the condition where all individuals have consistent access to sufficient nutritious food that is safe and to meet the dietary needs of the individuals in a community. So it's very important. This is a concept, as I said, that evolved from the United Nations. Now, common sense, food security is something that all nations live with. Okay? Is colonization create a lot of confusion, and so that's why United Nations have to step in and be authority in setting the trend of what needs to be. I'd like to say something quickly first.
Yes, yes.
And this is to you, to Jazz Masquisi. Dedicate a day, a month to farming on this program, Farm Radio. I'm introducing a new program. Bring out the Rasta farmers. Let them have a voice. They know when they know end of month or what time is the Ital Liberty time. The farmers don't come out. Farmers and chefs.
Okay. The item here, I get charged by my elder to execute a work. So
specifically,
I'm gonna tell him no.
Liberty.
Not tell him no. No, me not tell him.
Rastafari. All right. So we're starting this food security. Food is a basic necessity for life. Food is any substance consumed to provide nutritional support and energy to humankind and organism. It can be raw, processed, or formulated, and is consumed orally by animals for growth, health, or pleasure. Human food is food which is fit for human consumption. And Rastafari, I know, is the plant-based diet. They call it the plant-based diet. We call it the Ital diet. They call it the veganism. They're talking about veganism right now in the Western world. Rastafari since 1930 in Howell time. We live in this liberty. We're the unsung heroes of this whole new plant-based movement, this vegan movement. Okay? Since I come here in 77, original on Dundas and Spadina, strictly Ital. Raknakar is still in Jamaica. Much respect as the first Ital store. I had the opportunity in Truth and Rights. I used to work there when the band wasn't doing too good in the Ital store. And if you look all over, not even in the Caribbean, because the Caribbean full up of Ital store. Any major metropolitan country, whether it be London, Manchester, Birmingham, Miami, DC, New York, Atlanta, these are Italians. Toronto, Montreal, Brampton, these are Ital food store. So we on top of things. All right. Food is a basic necessity of life, and humans typically seek food out as an instinctual response to hunger. When you're hungry, you don't know. You got to sip. All right. So it's food. Sovereignty. Sovereignty is supreme authority. Supreme power or authority. How can we hope to wrest sovereignty away from the oligarchy and back to the people? The oligarchies is them big multinational food corporations who doing the most unscrupulous thing with the righteousness of food. Okay? But food is a spiritual thing. Food is the staff of life. Without food, there's no humankind. So food is very important. What I learned, because of recent, in my building my knowledge on Black food sovereignty, I'm learning about indigenous food sovereignty up here in the north. And just like people of African descent there, we not good capitalists, you know. A lot of people is bad capitalists because it's not of us. It's not of us. Because food is not a commodity. We grow food for consumption to keep a healthy life and do other things and look after ourselves. Okay? So just the indigenous people, you know what I mean? This is not about big food store. This is just about growing the food, talking to the plants, talking to the animals, and that's the liberty. Okay? And that's the progress because they still used to feed themselves. Like in Mexico with them Aztecs and them big temples, and there's thousands of people used to live there, and thousands of people used to be farming and growing food. They grow food out in the ocean in Mexico, called them chiampas. Okay? So getting the knowledge is important. Now, back to the sovereignty. Sovereignty constructs like a nation state. Sovereignty or a sovereignty construct like a nation state can generally be defined as supreme authority. Sovereignty entails hierarchy with the state as well as external autonomy for states. Basically, we're talking about the decision making. So when we talk about Black food sovereignty, we're talking about who making the decisions. But let's stay to food sovereignty for now and leave the Black out of it.
Okay.
In contrast to food security, food sovereignty emphasizes the right of communities to define their own food system and policies. Now, why I have been so determined to spread the gospel of Black food sovereignty. Now, when you say gospel, people think right away about religion. But gospel is also the good word.
Yes, good news.
Good news, that's right.
Yes.
Good news is gospel. That's the meaning.
And I want to tell the eye is the reason I stopped using food security, because when I reasoned with the elder the first time and he showed me the reasoning about food security, that yes, you can have access, but we want more than access. You know, we
want
need
more than access.
Yeah, we need to be able to control and make the decisions around the food and what's in the food and the ital and these things. So this is the elder. You know, when the item see I and see how I move, it's not because I'm no special. Yes, I'm special because I'm a child of the Most High, but it's because I've been shaped by so many teachers, and this is one of those teachers. So I really give thanks for the bringing out that sound about food sovereignty. Is there ready to go into your presentation?
I'd like to say one thing before we go to the presentation.
This is the high time.
There is just something just now that is very important. And it's something that I know I have to make known. Rastafari food sovereignty. Because I, especially coming out to the Caribbean and then spreading abroad, is that I define I food system. The Ital Liberty out of nowhere just blossom. Okay? We have man growing Ital, man growing ganja, and Ital stores. We, as Majesty said, we become a new race. We ain't reached there yet, as I say, but we make a start. More than most people, more than most Black people in this part of the world. We make a real important mark on this work. Go on with the PowerPoint. Let me get in it.
All right, bring up the PowerPoint there, producer. And for the people, you know, when we say that we're not ready, one of the reasons I say that is because we don't have the food system, the pipeline, seed to table. In most of our Rastafari communities, we still go to the health food store. We still go to these shops that we don't control, we don't own. So if those supply lines to those stores are cut in a disaster, we are in the same boat that everybody else is in, as opposed to, say, like the Amish, the Mennonite community, where they have their own system that's separate and apart. They supply the larger system, but they have their own, you could say, food sovereign system. And for those who say, oh, the Ras come on the internet and tell Babylon, say we're not ready. I want to just burst the item bubble because Babylon surveillance in this modern time. Babylon know more than you that you're not ready, you know. And is we don't know, so we're not ready. So we have to have these dialogue. Babylon know everything about everyone because everybody's carrying a smartphone. Everybody is tuning in. Babylon surveillance has gone to another level. So us admitting that we're not ready is not informing Babylon nothing they don't know. But what we are doing is highlighting this problem or this challenge so that we can address it. It's not something to be swept under the rug. It's not something that we need for us to go a reggae show and sing about this and that and we feel irie. No, we have work to do, serious work. This is one of the reasons that I stepped into the media space, is to start to bring these issues, because I'm not seeing these conversations, I'm not seeing these elders speaking to a large audience. So I know what I know my network, and so that is why Lion Voice is here. So make sure the item of support this, because we have work to do, and I would like to be in a position we should be able to employ this elder right now for Rastafari, and we are working behind the scenes, I and the elder and many others. So we'll be bringing that information when we're ready to the public. But just know, so we're not here just talking. All right, Elder, bring us through this powerful presentation.
All right, so this presentation basically would speak to mobilizing Black food sovereignty in Canada. Now, what motivated me to really show leadership in Black food sovereignty in Canada is my 30 years of experience working in food systems in Canada. And when we speak about food systems is from the field to the table and everything in between the field to the table. Field to the table could be from your backyard into your house or into the pot, cook, well left over, you throw it back into the yard and you compost it. Then it could be from a farm. But with a farm now, it have a little more things to do with the system. So it have inputs. We're talking about food system. It have the inputs that you can put manure into the soil or compost into the soil. You can use water. You can use natural amendments. You can plant the seeds. You can plant the seedlings. You can till the soil. You can harvest. And let me use peanuts as the example for this food systems demonstration. You harvest the peanuts. You dry them. You take them now to the factory. And the factory can reconfigure and turn them into peanut butter. So we take a simple product. You might heat them, might crush them, you make the peanut butter, you put it in bottles and jars. Transportation is part of the system. Transport it to a warehouse. From the warehouse to the supermarket or the retail store. Consumers come to the store, they purchase it, they go home, they use it. They might recycle the containers, for instance, if it's in glass jars. And it's a complete loop, okay? And you want to do it, I involve in sustainable food systems. So everything is to be regenerative, from the soil to the factory to the transportation. We want to make sure we use natural from beginning to end. And that's the idea. Okay? So the food system also have nutritionists, it also have scientists in it. It also have government in it too. So when we talk about the food system, we're talking about everything to do with the food. So within food sovereignty now, my work for the last 30 plus, nearly 30 years, I realize my colleagues, when I talk about my colleagues, I talk about my white colleagues who I work with up here in Toronto. What I realized, we were working in community food security. And as people of African descent, my white colleagues were not competent enough to understand the way of people of African descent to deliver for them what is necessary for us as a community to improve. And as the PowerPoint move on, I can be able to explain to you why it's not so. What I realize, there's no disrespect to them, they're good to work in their community. But we, as people of African descent, we have to what? Define our own food systems and policies. A good example, a quick example.
You want to change the page or you're okay?
No. I'll tell you when.
Okay.
The good example is Kalaloo. Kalaloo come from Jamaica. Not alone, Kalaloo come from Pakistan. Kalaloo come from China. Kalaloo probably come from Africa. All in place of Kalaloo. Up here in Canada, and I could say this with no apology, they have a Canadian version. Let's call it pigweed. It's grow wide up here. Kalaloo grow really good up here. Kalaloo seeds, when they drop in the winter, they could withstand the winter. They just come up after that cold winter and that ice or whatever it is. In the spring, Kalaloo come out of the ground again. Okay? I personally love the wild Kalaloo from up here more than the Jamaican Kalaloo.
Wow.
The wild Kalaloo up here is wild, just like would say. It's more natural, okay? The only problem with it don't look pretty. But food is not prettiness. Food is the nutritional content and how you feel before you eat. In the spring, I just harvest all in wild Kalaloo. I love that version, okay? It's just what it is, that particular version. It don't look pretty. Have like a kind of a greenish leaf, but it's very nutritious. All right. So, the idea now of the sovereignty is important for we gather Black folks in this country. And we have a big job. We have a big job because this city here, Kwasi, have one of the most diverse people of African descent in the world.
Yes.
People over 185 different countries.
Wow.
Okay. Large populations. Jamaican is the largest Black population in Canada. Then you have the Haitians. I think the Nigerians pass the Haitians. Okay. And then you have the Ethiopians. So it's a very diverse, and we all have the own foodways.
And this is new, Elder, because when I was growing up in Canada, it was just Caribbean people mostly. We didn't have that many Africans.
Yes.
In the early days, it was all, and it was mostly Jamaican. And then we had the islands and Guyanese. I have a lot of Guyanese brethren.
Yes.
So those were that's my. So I don't even know this Toronto. I never book up.
You don't know. Hear why you don't know this Toronto from 1990 to present.
Yes.
I think it's 60-40 now.
Okay.
60 Africa, 40 Caribbean.
Wow.
Now, the 40% of young people, most of them is Caribbean youths. So it's a very interesting experience in Canada right now. You could go probably in any neighborhood where they got Black people and get injera. So we really enjoy, and this is like a little African union up here we have.
Okay.
All right. So next slide.
Okay.
So very important. Let me run through this. So it's a difference between food security and food sovereignty. Food security and food sovereignty are distinct concepts in the realm of food systems. Remember the food systems from field to table. Everything in between there is part of the food system. each addressing different aspects of food access and control. Access and control. We don't have control over our food system in Canada. That's why we're mobilizing for Black food sovereignty. Because our food culture is different to the colonizers' food culture. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Each culture can bring their own food. Because the Chinese bringing their own food, the South Asians bringing their own food, that is food sovereignty. Everybody defining their own vine and fig tree. Everybody defining their own way of doing things. So food security refers to a condition where all individuals have consistent access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food to meet their dietary needs. In contrast, food sovereignty emphasizes the right of community to define their own food systems and policy. It advocates for local control over food production and distribution, prioritizing sustainable practices and cultural relevances. The other thing that's different to food security is that the food have to prioritize sustainable. It have to be grown ecologically safe, regenerative, organic. It has to be a natural process. That is a key. Okay? And the cultural practices, that's why you have Black food sovereignty. Just opportunity to prioritize our African historic roots. And I like to say this, I want everybody to listen up. Where does Black food sovereignty come from? Black food sovereignty come from the first Black woman from creation feeding a Black child. Take that and think about that. That's where our roots come from. Black food sovereignty from creation. You can see the history. I can go over the history of the modern idea of food sovereignty, of where that come from. But basically, when you look at it, the food sovereignty tradition in chanting what I chanting. The Black food sovereignty take it to another level. Indigenous food sovereignty take it to another level. Because we're seeing the real value of the concept. The food sovereignty struggle is against multinational corporations, mostly. But you see that cultural relevance in that statement. That's where we bring in Mama Africa. That's where we bring in the creation story. All right. It focuses, now this is food security, it focuses on the availability, accessibility, and utilization of food, often emphasizing large-scale production and market mechanism to ensure food is available to populations, particularly during a crisis. So food security is about a crisis. If I could recall, I spoke about Second World War. This is where it really started. All right. United Nations, now as a young, probably 10 years old, or a little less than 10 years old, they start doing the work. All right. The concept of food sovereignty challenges the corporate-driven model of food security by promoting small-scale farming, environmental sustainability, and social justice. Social justice. The food security is about cooperativization, multinational cooperativization, 1,000-acre farms, 1,000-acre farms killing cattle, and so there's a whole different new paradigm when we're looking at food systems. Food security efforts to achieve food security typically involve increasing food production, stabilizing food prices, often relying on industrial agricultural practices. Yeah. Capitalism. The premise of capitalism that come from slavery.
And also monoculture, pesticides.
That's right.
Chemical fertilizers.
That's right. Pollution
large-scale killing, because even with the vegan food, when you're dealing with on a massive scale, they're killing a lot of ground birds, ground nesting birds, they're killing a lot of rabbits, this, that, you know what I mean? Because it's mechanized and it's very they're not doing anything to try to mitigate some of the harm to nature.
That's right. And they're killing one of the most important things, livable insects, and that is bees.
Yes.
Without bees, we perish, you know. We perish in a big way. So food sovereignty is rooted in the belief that communities should have the power to shape their agricultural practices based on their unique ecological and cultural context. Here they're always going back to ecological and cultural context.
Yes.
Now, before the Second World War, they didn't know nothing but chemical fertilizers and all them thing, you know. Everything was vital from the 1920s, 1930s. It's only after the Second World War then they realized they got these factories and they decide to, you know what, we can step up this capitalism thing, because they realize the enslavement of people of African descent, that wasn't happening. So they had to step up production. That's why they started using the chemical process of industrial agriculture. So based on the unique ecological and cultural context, just addressing the root cause of food insecurity. Small farms, communities doing it. Back to Black food sovereignty. What it says here right now is that we need to do for ourselves, because we have people feeding I and I.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only appearance that feed you. So what it say? We're a nation of children.
Wow. Say that again, Elder, because I want to upset some people. I want to get people upset so at least they can move to action. Say that again.
It shows, okay, how complacent we are. It's only your parents that feed you, okay? And we don't feed ourselves. It's other people that feed us. Whether we go and buy the food in the store from them, okay? We're not farming. And it's a reason, okay? We come like children to these people because these people feeding us. Whether we're going to buy in the restaurants or whether we're going to buy the food in the store, other than we growing our own food and we buying our own food and we cooking our own food and we intentionally selling the food in our restaurants. Because if you look, you ever see a Chinese man in a black restaurant or Indian man in a black restaurant? Hardly ever.
Hardly.
No disrespect.
It happens. I don't know if I've seen it.
No disrespect. You know what I mean? That's why these people could come in our community and reap the rewards. Majesty said we got to become a new race. Rastafari have to be able to step up with their leadership. We talk with Italians. The I said he started the program. I love how the I started. We ain't ready, you know. We think we're ready. We beat up the chest, but we ain't ready. We start strong with Leonard Howell and going through the ages. We see this generation, Babylon capture and I, you know, we gotta be more intentional. We gotta farm together. And that's why I talk about the learning farm. Next slide. Sankofa, go back and get it. Rastafari said, go forward and get it. See this board here?
Mm-hmm.
This is the Sankofa symbol. It's a bird facing forward, but looking back with the egg in his mouth. It shows us, as Marcus Garvey said, look to Africa. There's a foundation. We got to look at the traditions in Africa. We got to look at the traditions in the African way called foodways. What we eat, what we grow, what we cook, okay? What we write about, the African foodways. Go back to fetch it. The symbol of wisdom, of learning from the past to build for the future. Ain't nothing new, you know, in this thing. We always food sovereign. Next slide. This is the fullness. Pre-colonial Africa was characterized by a wide diversity of societies. We always had large kingdoms like the kingdom of Benin, the kingdom of Kush, the Kingdom of Congo, powerful with monarchs heading complex political structures, governing hundreds of thousands of people. How we used to feed them hundreds of thousands of people. That is our black food sovereignty, our African food sovereignty. We know this thing, you know.
Yes, I.
But the colonization beat it out I and I. And it was only Rastafari to the land, you know. But Rastafari for the land for a small period of time. Now Rastafari is to the city and watch TV. And that we lose we way.
We're in the studio. We're in the studio, Elder. We are making big song. We are making big song. We are build rhythm. We are, you know.
That's right. We lose we way.
Yes.
Okay. We got to do this Sankofa thing. We got to return to the roots. You hear the man say, I and I are the roots.
Yes.
I hear born in spirit say, you know, who live in the country, hills. We ain't singing them thing again, you know. We singing with some different thing.
Different vibes.
We gotta go back to the roots. So back to this. So the Kingdom of Benin. Them kingdom had like 20,000-30,000 people living in the city. Okay? The walls of Benin was longer, and this is surrounding the city, you know, was longer than the Great Wall of China.
I read that recently, and the British knocked down the whole entire.
They mash it up. Jealousy, they mash it up. The really one we stay, as they say, like savages. Okay, is intentional, systemic racism. So it's in new. What we gotta do, as Majesty said, we gotta become the new race. We gotta go forward and pick up, as Sankofa said. Next slide. So in this picture here now, they say this is the land of Punt. Now, these are Egyptians putting food on a ship that going up the Nile to the land of Punt. Land of Punt was another black kingdom, okay, just up the road from the Egyptian kingdom. So this food thing is nothing new for I, you know. We always know what we have to do, you know. So we gotta be shipped. So we gotta be food that don't grow and packaged and ready and going on the ship. It's an ancient Egyptian time painting you're seeing here. Next slide. This is, if you see the city of Benin in the back. It's a French guy who draw this picture here. Okay? At the back is the city of Benin, with over 20 to 30,000 people living. Okay? You see we dancing and singing, we know where food coming from, you know. With the youth able to dance and sing and you got no food. It's only people who very full could do them thing. We is the people who dance and sing. Okay? We love that. Because you know what? We don't take care of the food already.
Yes.
You ever see them man plowing a field with 40 man in a line and everybody with an axe and they're singing?
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's the culture. That is what we are accustomed to. Next slide. So, what do you do? Transatlantic slave trade. This is where the confusion starts. The millions of I destroy all the economy and everything in Africa. I don't know if the I know, but right around where I live in there, Virginia, they bring the enslaved. They have a book named The Black Rice. It's a good read.
Yes.
We bring rice before cotton and what else? Cotton and the corn and the different industries that grow in America during the enslavement. We were growing rice. It was the biggest war commodity coming out of America. Yeah. It's the African rice.
South Carolina.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you go there, you can see the history. So after this transatlantic slave trade, 400 years, you know what we grandparents tell we after emancipation? Don't worry with them agricultural thing. That traumatized them.
Yes.
That's why you see I run to the cities. New York, Detroit, Chicago, DC. We run and left the most important thing. But not just run, you know. Because the Ku Klux Klan run and I out to the land.
I was gonna say we have to put some context because a lot of because it's called the Great Migration.
The Great Migration is not
Yeah.
just we run to left the land.
Yeah, but
The
we were
run and I
escaping
out the land.
terrorism, lynchings.
That's right. That's right.
We're at the
That's
all-time apex. They were having picnics. They were castrating man, hanging them. You know, you would walk down the road and see a black man with his genitalia removed, hanging from a tree.
That's right.
So our ancestors were running from terror as well, and then, as you said rightly, we also had trauma. From
and up to now, so the thing about Black food sovereignty is not just the growing food, you know, it's getting rid of the trauma. Even as Rasta traumatized too, you know, that's why you see them up on the land, you know. So Rasta don't think that they ain't got the trauma. Is you got to prove you ain't got the trauma. You got to go to the land.
Yes.
You got to do like Howell and them bonfire upon the trauma.
Exactly.
You understand? And they set up, and them white boy in Jamaica mash up the community because they see the power.
Yes.
Same thing they do in America. America, they poison the water, they kill off the animals, you know. So when people talking about Al Qaeda and ISIS, the original terrorists in America, the original American terrorists.
Serious.
Okay.
It's a serious history.
Serious. So this slow I up. Next slide. So this slide just show you how I really reached to these parts of the world, where the confusion start with the growing of the food and the agriculture and the systems. The from Senegal, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Congo, Angola, millions of I US. Okay, next slide. Now this slide really, ones mightn't see it if they look on the phone and things, but basically this is what galvanized us very, very firmly to look at Black food sovereignty. As I said before, you can't have people feeding, you can't get people defining who don't have the right skills and the know-how to set your food system. What's saying here is that the rate of food insecurity in Canada overall is 12.4% for households. For Black households, it's 28.4%.
Okay.
White households is 10%. Okay? So it just shows that everybody more food secure than I. That's because we ain't looking after I self. People who looking after I, they food secure, more food secure than I. If it's a country, this is the 10th most wealthiest country in the world. And we food insecure. Now this stats why showing here, this is old stats. Okay? We get into the new stats. Next slides. So in 2017, what is more alarming is 36.6% of Black children live in food insecure households compared to white children. You know what's food insecurity? Food insecurity is going to bed without any dinner, waking up in the morning without any breakfast. We're talking about asthma. We're talking about diabetes. We're talking about blood pressure. I'm talking about with children, you know, because if you don't have the right nutrients, the basic stuff, sustenance for nutritional support and energy, you become a problem. That's why you see the 7 Black children go in this classroom, they're agitated. There's a reason why they're agitated, because they ain't get nothing, ain't got no proper breakfast. A bully cake and a pop up here. Okay, a bowl of cake and a pop. Biscuit and pop. Okay, man, this CBC, the radio, the national radio up here, When you see school starting in September and they introduce some of those white kids in those affluent areas, when you hear they talk about their breakfast, man, oh man, you think that the whole of Canada eating like that. You know what I mean? But not in the ghetto up here. So nearly 36 points. Now, this stats is 2017. Next slide. This is 2022. 46.3%, nearly half of black children in a country, the 10th most wealthy country in the world. Half of black children are food insecure. You're talking about a lot of children. When you don't get no food, you know what you're going to do to get food? You're going to thief that food, you know. So them turning us into criminal up here. From them is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're going in a food store. Same thing happened in America too. So they start stealing.
Okay.
They have low blood pressure. They have all kind of disease. Because if you don't get the nutrients, there's the problem. Okay. Next slide. So in 2021, 39% of black people are food insecure.
Serious.
So that rise up more. Black children from 36 to 46%. That is why we got have black food sovereignty in this land, because we got to look after ourselves. You can't have people looking after you.
No one is coming to save us. I
No
say
one.
Every episode on this platform, no one is coming to save us.
What Majesty said, we have to become a new race. We're too complacent. We got to be more intentional. Rastafari had the food cooperatives. They have cooperatives of ital store, cooperative of farms. Same thing with black people. We got to be intentional. We can't wait on nobody. This is not racism. Everybody doing for themselves. You see Chinese supermarkets, you see Indian supermarkets, everybody doing the thing. Even if we sell it more expensive, we still got to buy from each other. Because it's the only way we could build. That's why people got to contribute to the Lion Vice Network.
Give thanks for saying that. Because one thing I realize, we don't love each other. So I don't take it personal when people don't support the platform, because we don't value anything that's made by black people. You know what I mean? If this was another community and I step out with a media, I would have 100 people before I could even spin around in terms of my goal. But as black people, we don't value anything. You know, we just watch and say whatever, and then we'll go support a white-owned brand or institution. We buy a Gucci belt. Buy a this, that.
Yeah. We gotta be intentional, and as Rasta people, we gotta be the example. We is the example in many ways. We is the example in healthy eating, the ital liberty.
Really?
It come full circle that the plant-based. In Canada, the food guide is 80% plant-based.
Okay.
80%. That go against the grain. Them and the dairy industry and them big war with them, you know. But you know what the government realized? People consuming meat, it's a weight on the health care. So they had to do something. If you go on the Canadian government website to looking at food guide, you can see. You got people eating differently. So much of different vegan store and vegetarian stores up here doing real good. Next slide. All right.
Hold on there.
So this is just the latest stats on black population in Canada. The largest number of countries of birth, mother tongue, and ethnic or cultural origins among all racialized groups in Canada. We are the most diverse set of people in the world. Up here in Canada, we are by far the most diverse set of people. Over 180 different countries, around 250 different mother tongues, people talk 250 different language as black people. Not just French, English, and Spanish. Okay. Approximately 371 different ethnic or cultural origins.
Wow.
Okay. We ain't talking about the 19 islands in the Caribbean, you know. We're talking about a whole different set of things. Okay. Africa, one country got so much a different language than all them breed there. You know what I mean?
Hundreds of languages in each African country.
So when we talk about black food sovereignty, we talk about black unity. We now trying to organize a black arts and food and arts festival up here. So all these different people could bring all the different type of food and so forth. Just be with me. I see my battery is lowing, so I gotta put in my plug.
Yes.
Get my phone down.
While you do that, let me read some messages here. Family, we're talking about food sovereignty. This is the Lion Talk live show. Ras Maisha said, big up, no culture without agriculture. Pittsburgh family checking in. Ibi Lion, eat what you grow what you eat. Kingston, Jamaica family, Lion Pride checking in. Big up yourself, Ibi Lion. I've been really wanting to grow my own food, but I stay in an apartment in the city of San Francisco, California. Big up yourself, California family. And I'm going to ask the elder for the people who are in apartments, some things we can do. We'll get there. Johnny Johnson, this brother, I one day I sent an email, Johnny Johnson, because there I have full of information. El Paso, Texas. Mexico tuning in to the vibes. Big up yourself. Kajanos, aka CARICOM, Agriculture Organization Magazine, for our Ford Clubs, Nutraceuticals, Fruitarian, Dr. Sebi, other vegetarian herbalists are being killed by Big Pharma, CIA station chiefs. Serious allegation that Baba Roots was murdered in Jamaica. Big up the family of Baba Roots. I know one of his family members. Most nations in CARICOM, AFRICOM, have 3 growing seasons and a 4th indoors hydroponics for all natural herbs. But countries like Liberia had 16 indigenous rice plants, crops, but now import 95% of rice. Problems. Truth is always true. And I've been thinking about that. Big up all the Atlanta family. Walter Rodney was thrown out of Jamaica after graduation from UWI, but he blessed us with his book, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. We have one of Walter Rodney countryman here tonight. Yes, food insecurity. Big up Atlanta family. Truth is always true. Marie, Nadine Pierre, big up my Lion Pride family, Ja and Jais love food sovereignty now. Big up, long time we don't see the eye, Sister Marie. Good to see the eye forward here with the family. Many African diaspora food scientists, both new and old, are very talented, but are forced into white academia. Example, George Washington Carver made 400 products from the peanut. Very true. You know what I mean? So this is one of the things that we have to talk about. Also, I want to just announce to the Lion Pride family, we have officially crossed 16,000 subscribers while we're on the program here with our elders. So we want to just say big up to the whole Lion Pride family globally. This is a movement. This tide cannot be stopped. So 16,000 people now have joined this movement, and we're still growing again at about 1,000 new subscribers every strong. And we're really, and a lot of the growth is in Africa. You know, big up. We get a lot of people from Libya. I don't know what's going on in Libya, but we get a lot of subscribers from Libya, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, South Africa, Ghana. These are some of the main places. So big up all of my African family. Drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from, particularly in the African continent. Let us know so we can feel the love. I still haven't seen anybody from Libya comment, so I don't know if it's real or wagwan. But please, family, comment. Let us know you're here. We need 100 people in the Patreon. Out of that 16,000, I'm asking 75 fire angels to step up financially to support the platform so that we can continue to grow. The vision is to have correspondents in different regions that we can pay to bring us content from different Rastafari communities. We're going to spend the money in the Rastafari community. So please, family, support the platform. We are not going to stop. All right. So, Elder, you ready?
Yes.
All right. Continue.
Next slide. Black food sovereignty. This is a new movement, and it's all about education, all about knowing where we're going. Very important. This is a movement, and you could see it all across North America. It's not so much in the Caribbean right now. It's to some extent in Africa Food Sovereignty Network, Food Sovereignty Ghana. It's different in different places, but we have to get used to this word. I'm glad that Jasmine Kwesi talk about food sovereignty, different to food security. We got to get on board. Black food sovereignty is about Black liberation. Black food sovereignty is a Black liberation call because we need to feed our I self.
Facts.
We need to feed I self. It's a simple thing. We just take time and do all kind of things. A lot of got access to balcony, backyard, community garden, whatever. Farming is a must. Gardening is a must. We got to be, as the sister say, with my good brother who tried on recently, agriculture. There's no culture without agriculture.
Yes.
And we're doing this from creation. As I say, Mama Africa, food sovereignty. Mama Africa feed the first Black child. This is where this is coming from. This is a creation movement, This is not no Toronto thing and no Detroit thing and no Atlanta thing, This is from Mama Africa, from creation. This is where they start. All right. So I can speak a little bit more about food sovereignty.
Yes.
Food sovereignty is the right of people to healthy and culturally appropriate food produced through ecologically sound and sustainable methods. Sound and sustainable methods. As Rastafari, we burning chemical from a land, and we didn't even got the full knowledge of organic production. But we go to the hills and we grow the food, and we acquire the knowledge skillfully of how to take care of the plants. But as we grow from strength to strength, we're looking at the scientific ways of doing this work. And it's about knowledge. And we keep growing from strength to strength. That's not always born with chemical things. From time, we're doing that. So we, as Rastafari, this Black food sovereignty movement, we is with leadership. And to give you a good example, Isa Ras, Monica Keeney in Detroit is a Ras, Kasham Myers a Ras. These is three huge Black food sovereignty institutions in North America.
Who was the other brethren? Bingy Sean, and who was the other brethren?
Malik Yakini, you have a chance with him.
Yes.
It just opened a $20 million food cooperative in Detroit.
And he said, is he a Ras?
Is he a Ras? Malik Yakini. Okay.
All right, we're gonna get him on this program.
Gotta get him on the program. All right. So, Black food sovereignty is the right of people of African descent to healthy and culturally appropriate food produced through ecologically sound and sustainable methods, and the right to define their own food and agricultural systems. So, the sky is the limit with what we could do. what we have to do with this Black food sovereignty movement. We are rearranging this whole food system. And it's about bringing the farmers together, the chefs together, the nutritionists together, the Black food scientists together. You know what I mean? Anything to do with food. The ones who write in the books. And like Rastafari is the only people who sing about food. They're the only people, Rasta the only people who make a song about food as a hit. You imagine that. So, when I talk about, I hope I get some time to talk about Rastafari food sovereignty.
Yes.
Because I ain't heard that song yet. But we practicing food sovereignty for a longer time, since Pinnacle. Okay? So, we got to start using these words and identifying our food ways. Rastafari food ways, the Ital liberty. That done set, you know. We practice more than anything else. The farmer leader of Guyana, a person who's not popular in certain circles, he's citing Rastafari, Black food sovereignty. You know what he said?
What he say?
He said, when I dead, another Rastaman and take my place. Okay? Because he see within Rastafari. Look, Jamaica. Jamaica, much respect. They don't promote jerk food and jerk chicken and jerk this and jerk that.
Yes.
And the Ital liberty is way higher than the jerk.
I tell you.
Ital liberty is an original, because the jerk come from the indigenous people who live in Jamaica before the enslaved folks come there. They know the history of the foodways about the Caribbean and Jamaica. And the Ital liberty is a much more healthy export for Jamaica, because it's exported all over the world. Because you know why Rastafari walk with it.
Yes. We're working on it, Elder. We're working on it, and I know there is a part of that. We're working.
That's
on
right.
On
We got to tell the Jamaican government they need to give the Rastafari people much more resources to promote. Because in Canada, as I say, 80% of the food guide is plant-based because of health, because the cost of health. Next slide. So food sovereignty focus on 5 principles.
Okay.
It's really 6, but this, I'm going to tell you about the 6th one. Focus on food for the people, the value of food producers, localize food systems, put control locally, build knowledge and skills. Here, education is the key. Now, I say, you know, it's highly Selassie, I say, you know, education is the key. Not only book education, you know, it's knowledge, it's getting the knowledge.
Practical.
Work with nature. And the 7th principle come from right up here in Canada, from the indigenous community. It's food and the spirit of food. The plants have a spiritual connection.
Really?
Whether it be the animals as they deal with it, or whether it be the plants. These people who starve the trees. Same thing in Africa, you know. Africa, we starve the trees, we starve the animals. It just don't reach here. Okay? So that's the principle. Next slide. A very, very interesting slide there. You can see the people rise up. We feed the world and cool the planet. Ecological farming, organic farming, regenerative farming, farming that regenerate the soil. Soil health is very important. Biodiversity, food sovereignty.
That's the foundation, the soil.
That foundation. You can't get nothing without the foundation. This is why you don't grow food in sun. Okay. You know, you do grow some food, but not as productive as growing it in good, healthy soil.
I have a question for the eye in terms of wildlife, because as you scale farm production, you're getting rid of natural habitat. How do you cite the balance between food production and preserving natural wildlife within the different regions, especially as we move forward to the African continent.
Yeah, is that combination, because it's only now they're introducing this monocrop thing in Africa, you know.
Yes.
We always in harmony with food and food production. It's only these new things that are coming from Europe and America that really polluting Africa, you know. But Africa's so natural and regenerative. That's why you see you have food sovereignty Ghana. Because there's the people who fight in the government, who bring in the chemical thing. Them big government, people who get in the kickbacks and things, who want to kill off the people. We always food insecure with ecological farming in Africa. So we know what to do. As I said, it's a new movement happening here right now. And we just asked, we looking for the solutions. Sankofa, we got to go back to the original of how we feed ourselves with these large populations. We got to do a lot of work. Like I see this have a refugee camp with hundreds of thousands of people. Since you see a refugee camp come, you're supposed to start farms, because them same people supposed to start farming. You understand? The waste that they giving off, they're supposed to go in the soil. So we got to be, as Majesty said, a new race. Do things in a new way, intentionally. I warrant to the Bingy Gongs. All the Bingy Gongs supposed to have a farm in Jamaica. Every Bingy Gong. I can even get into Scotch Pass and the Mali family and that country.
Yeah, no, we're not going there.
We're not going there.
And I saw the plan that I drafted along with Ras Aziz, gave some strength to Naya Bingi center plan. So these are things that we're looking forward to implement. As we say, we're not just here talking about these things. Once we build that confidence, that self-confidence in ourselves, that self-love. Because I realize, Elder, that we have to build that self-love in ourselves, that we feel worthy to even support each other. Because right now we don't trust each other, and we don't see the value in a black man platform or a black woman platform. You know what I mean? So we have to build that confidence, that self-love. But once that happens, trust and believe. His Majesty has risen the human resources, and land is not an issue, because we have Rastafari brethren and sisters with hundreds, if not thousands, of acres.
Yeah, man.
Under ownership, so we can start. But continue.
Continue. I'm gonna be moving fast because I see the time running up. Okay?
Yes, we're going 2 hours already. But
I tell you, man,
sweet. It's sweet.
You got to service ITEL program, man. Food, farming, and the ITEL stores. Okay, so I tell you, I learned a lot from the indigenous community. This is 4 principles that they have. Food is sacred and should be treated as such. Participation in land-based food activities is important and requires an action-based approach, especially for Rastafari. Self-determination of food system is critical. Policy reform is necessary to component to addressing and achieving indigenous food sovereignty goals. We can run these slides fast so that we can get a chance to raise them with ones. Okay. 4 steps in Black food sovereignty. We start down to the community. We go around Toronto, 2 different neighborhoods, east and west. When we reach to this next slide, you know what happened? COVID-19. We have to go online and start talking to ones online. We're organizing. In response, we get the government here to start talking about Black food sovereignty. Next, we had a conference in 2020. This is where we start building the Black food sovereignty alliance. We're talking about chefs, farmers, nutritionists, food policy people, academics. We're bringing everybody together from this 185 different countries, over 500,000 in Toronto. We bring in who could come to organize Black food sovereignty. 2021, another session. This one was a national one. The round table, Black food sovereignty round table. Next. This is historic. This is historic. The City Council approved Canada's first Black food sovereignty plan in Toronto. to respond to the needs of immediate and comprehensive action to address the problems of food insecurity experienced by many Black Torontonians. I gotta come on and talk about this by itself for the
Yes.
whole 2 hours.
This is just part one, you know, Elder. I just want to get the people used to the eye, but this is just part. There is going to be a regular feature.
But this here, this Black Food Sovereignty Plan is historic around the world. With a city of nearly 3 million people and have a Black Food Sovereignty Plan. All right, next slide.
The Elder is making history. We bring people, history makers. This has never been done in the history of these colonial plantations. So
this here, my brethren, is the inspiration of the Aita Liberty Rastafari as the foundation, without no disrespect to anybody. This is the third annual Black Food Sovereignty Conference in 2022. We bring out a policy paper on Black food sovereignty, the first policy paper in the world on Black food sovereignty in Canada, in America, any part of the world. Black food sovereignty. This you go on our website, you can see this. Black Food Sovereignty Alliance.ca. We just had the fourth conference, the 19th of September of this year. Okay. Another success. Decolonizing the food system. It's amazing how many folks call themselves allies but subtly or overtly avoid engaging with the most difficult issues. Next slide. Ones and ones in like this thing about Black food sovereignty. They want to feed us. You see that picture with that woman feeding that child? Eh?
Yes.
That's how Black people is. Black people is the child and white people is the mother.
Wow.
Okay. And then any other people who feed in our night, that cannot be. We gotta be self-sufficient. All right, next slide. So these are just some of the things. Avoidance, denial, and unwillingness to speak out are a way to use niceness as a way to silence or oppress the truth tellers. That's what you said, Judge Masquas. You tell the Rastafari community they're not ready. And they gotta know they're not ready. They gotta step up. They gotta step to the farm. They gotta step to the ITAL shop. You got to step to contributing to I&I own development. Okay? And this is from Dan Morrison, the founder and curator of the Working Group on Indigenous Food Sovereignty.
Okay.
Again, the general himself, we're going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery because whilst others might free the body, no one but themselves can free the mind. You know what I'm talking about there? Sovereignty.
Yes.
Black sovereignty. We are going to emancipate ourselves, the general himself.
Yeah, the Honorable Marcus said that. We have none but ourselves. Again, no one is coming to save us.
That's right. So we got to save ourselves. I like to say this before I seal up. The idea in the modern times of food sovereignty come from a group called La Via Campesina, which was established in 1993. It was a gathering of peasant organizations from Europe and South America, aiming to defend peasants on an international scale. Today, there's over 200 million members in more than 80 countries. The concept and the system of food sovereignty exists in Africa before colonization. As I said earlier, and I want people to know, Black food sovereignty started with the first Black woman in Africa feeding the Black child. So that's the fullness of civilization, all races and everyone else. The foundation is Black food sovereignty. The Black woman and child. Black woman and child. Oh. Serious thing. Rastafari, know. This has been a bless up, man. I give thanks anytime. My brother, anytime I give thanks for this opportunity.
Talk quickly before we seal up. Talk quickly about Rastafari food sovereignty and what that
Rastafari food sovereignty. Well, the Jasmine Crazy could set this foundation. Cause you don't know, it's only with I group I reason this song. You know, I don't reason this nowhere else. You know, okay. So this is the foundation to spread the word because why I realize with a lot of Black people they don't know they're dealing with Black food sovereignty. Because this is the new paradigm. That's what Majesty talking about, the new race and the courageous people. Rastafari has been food sovereign from pinnacle. How will move away from that Babylon, set up the farm, set up the community, growing the food, growing the weed, making the money, and they come and mash it up. Because that's how it is. The colonial boys see the power, but we have to do it now. Them musicians who making them big bucks singing all over the place, they got to put the money into farming, man. We got to build the Rastafari communities. We got to go up in the hills in Jamaica and them place and plow that land and build them community. We already have it, you know. The Ita Liberty is Rastafari food sovereignty.
Yes.
We do it. You know how creative I is with food. And I come with all kind of different creations naturally. As people of African descent, we're very distinct in food sovereignty. Okay? I write a poem. It's my shortest poem. Okay? Rastafari trod and the whole world witness. That is the poem. Okay? Because
that's a prophecy. That sounds like a prophecy.
That's right. The witness, people witnessing a miracle. Look, the black vegan population in America is the fastest growing vegan population. And you don't know, where's the foundation? We're doing that since they come and see Night store in Brooklyn and Harlem and all them places since the early times.
Wow.
No one in telling I to do that. Rastafari, when we leave, we compulsory had to leave our parents' home when we turn Rastafari. And we used to just go to the land and live on the land. We know about building house. Look, I give you an example. My fleshy, the genius Iwata musician. Him set up the Bingy house in Guyana, and I could tell you that. This man is a musician. All he knows is playing keys. I see the man set up a shack, bring family in there. It was my mother come up here from Canada and come down then, and my mother blaze Iwata. She had to class over a trench, a dirt floor. But what I'm saying is that that's what we do. And then we build house, and then it get better.
Yes,
okay?
Yes.
Look, they got some areas in Guyana that squatting area named Sapphire. Rastafari is the first people who go and squat on the land. Now the land is like a suburb with big housing. Okay? So when we talk about Rastafari food sovereignty, we live that. We practice food sovereignty intentionally, but we slow up. We get caught up.
Yes.
Reggae music and the city life and then, but you know, we're supposed to live on the farms. We gotta be the example for people of African descent. We gotta continue to be African. So now, the Jazz Mass Crazy food sovereignty channel, he can do the work. So let me start spread this gospel of Rastafari food sovereignty, my brother. That's it, you know.
Yes,
sir. Because no one else is doing it right now. No one is even speaking about Rastafari food sovereignty.
No.
But we already living it.
This is one of the pillars of the building of Zion is Rastafari food sovereignty, because we cannot build an alternative to Babylon without a food system.
That's
so,
right.
You know, you've heard I talk about the ITAL standard here. We're going to be...
That's right. You see that?
We're going to be bringing that forward.
That is Rastafari food sovereignty we're looking at there. We're defining... Food sovereignty is that we define the ecologically sound and sustainable message, the food system, the agriculture system. Okay? We taking it to the next level is everything to do with food, not just agriculture. Okay? Everything to do with food. My brother, I give thanks.
Give thanks for the eye. Likewise.
Any questions?
That's what I was going to say. Quickly, anyone who's watching live, if you have any questions for the elder, put it in the comments. We have a few more moments. We went 2 hours like lightning speed. This is just part one. We're going to bring the elder forward to talk about various aspects. Today was just an overview to get people accustomed to the concept of black food sovereignty, Rastafari food sovereignty, but we're going to do some deep dives. We'll do some panel discussions. We'll do a lot of activations. was up in Toronto the other day. I wanted to go seat up with the elder to do, but we'll do a tour, you know. Hopefully the elder can tour us on some of the farms there. We'll bring the camera and show the works that's happening in Toronto maybe this summer.
Yes.
We can do that. So this is just the beginning of this interaction. So any questions, Lion Pride, who are watching, drop your questions in the comment section. Ross, where is the I calling in from? In Iowa, people would have communal farmhouses. That is true. A lot of places, you know, the Amish here.
That's right.
That's what you call, they have what you call barn raising.
Yes.
Thing where the whole community comes out and they put up a barn in one day, put up a whole structure in one day. Everybody, the mason, the carpenter, the everybody's there one time. They have a big party, you know what I mean, food, cook, everything, and they just work, and bam, by the end of the day, sundown, barn is up, you know, and then they do that to somebody else's land the next time, you know, and they rotate, and that's how they build their communities, collective security. So there are models, and the elder just gave us a template for food sovereignty. So Rastafari, we have a template that we can use. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's so much that we can do. I'm not seeing any questions tonight. Hold on, I'm not seeing any questions tonight. So any final words? Elder, I know on the replay there'll be hundreds of people. Give thanks to everyone who watched live. We hit 16,000 subscribers tonight. By next Wednesday, we should be hitting 17,000. We are moving at lightning speed, and I want to just give thanks to everyone around the world who is tapping in the movement. The word is getting out. We are making a difference. And I know that because people are writing me and telling me what difference this is making in their lives. Now what we need is that financial contribution. Elder, please tell the Rasses in Toronto we need some of those Canadian dollars before the Western economy collapses, because that's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming rapidly.
Rapidly. So while
we gotta be prepared.
Yeah, while this fiat currency still has value, invest, because I would love to do a Rastafari food sovereignty conference and sponsor it through the Lion Voice Network, but I can't afford it. You know what I mean? So if the item invest in here, there's so much that we can do. Remember, I was one of these people who started the Jamaica Music Conference. Same thing with Posit, because these things cost. So we have experience. If we have the capital, there's so much we can do to bring together the players, to fund the mission as a network, because media is so important to defining a movement, to pushing out the sound. So let us invest in our media. And again, if you don't like I turn you off. We have Ija Star, we have Honorable Priest Kalish, we have Honorable Priest Isaac. We have so many different Rastafari media, IAD radio. We have so many ones who are in the media. Support somebody. You don't have to support but let us start investing our dollars to save ourselves. So, Elder, I'm going to
I would like to give a shout out to my brother originally from Atlanta, who's now in Ghana.
Okay.
Kashan Meyer, Fisher Inc. I like to put it out that I'm a senior advisor with the Atlanta Black Food Sovereignty Collective.
Yes.
I give thanks and I shout out to all my brethren who are involved in that work. To Jasmas, if you're thinking about a Black Food Sovereignty Conference, there's a good link in the US, Atlanta. I was down there for the Black Sustainability Summit. It was a bless up. I can tell you something special happened at that conference. That a DJ who was there, Ras, and he was rocking the double all night. And then he called and he talked to me, and I thanked him, and he said, I said, man, I used to play the band in Toronto, you know. I said, playing Truth and Right. He said, Truth and Right? He said, I have the record. The brother run to Little Rock. He playing real records, you know. He playing now.
Is that DJ Ras Iman?
I can't remember the name of the brother. He from London originally.
Okay, okay.
The brethren run, pick up his case, and put on the truths and rights. Man, I feel so good. But what I'm saying is that the idea of black food sovereignty, Rastafari food sovereignty, we gotta get with it.
Yes.
There's
no other way.
We back against the wall. You know what I mean? Like we gotta have these intentional communities. We gotta work together. We gotta intentionally work together. We gotta try, fail, try, but there's no other way. Because the cooperative way is the black people way. This is how we used to do it in Africa, you know. Africa had no store, and we used to just do together, feed each other, educate each other. Okay? We have a different way to capitalism, you know, and we gotta make sure it's functional. Like Chancellor Williams said, the cooperative way is common sense to African people. They make it no, it's just common sense of working together, you know. So one perfect love, as I said, we just gonna do this on a rebound and make sure we start to cultivate the idea of food sovereignty. And it's not only food sovereignty, you know, it's sovereignty in nearly everything black people do. We gotta be sovereign in. We gotta look after ourselves. And we gotta negotiate with governments. It's about negotiating. It's about fighting the government, you know. Because for instance, the agricultural bill in America is for the farmers, but most of the money go to the white farmers. We just gotta ask for our taxpayers' dollars. It's negotiation with government because they're not doing a good job.
And to negotiate, you need leverage, and to have leverage, you need unity, you need numbers.
Yes.
This is why the unity is so important in everything. We can't get caught up in these doctrine wars and all of this petty difference, personality differences, and that's another thing I'm doing with this platform is reestablishing Haile Selassie I as the head of Rastafari movement, so we can just get rid of all of these personalities. You know what I mean?
Right.
Haile Selassie I, the teachings that we work with. If anything else is your personal business,
yes. I like
within the framework.
I like to give thanks to my team with the Black Food Sovereignty Alliance, the board of directors, the staff.
Yes.
I have a Naibingi sister named Sister Lisa. Much respect. The farmer coordinator, all the staff, all the volunteers. I give thanks because this thing is not done alone. It's done collectively. And that's what we've got to do. One perfect love. Kadamawi, Haile Selassie, and Empress Menin, the balance. One love.
One love. So you've heard it here. We have a pioneer in the Black Food Sovereignty movement. He's already etched his name into the history book. He is here tonight live with us, straight from Toronto, Canada, on the Lion Talk live show. We are on the cutting edge of building the alternative to Babylon, and we will continue to do so. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the lion's voice.
Rastafari. Aye.
I'm over English. Real Ethiopian, me no British, go tell them. Hamarina Kwanka Fidel teach my children. Them teach me English, Amharic is my preference. When my heights and my black my reverence. About touching no, I best my ye nor. See me, ye can desmen gish teeth him ta. Before the best my ye in the own in the ube me dear. Tihun ye let in jara chinin. Satin zare. Kai mok is sat. It's hot. Lion voice. One voice. And the lion voice. Time for the lion and the lioness voices to be heard. Log in and don't log off. Lion voice. Queasy. One. Lion voice. I hit.
Of the fittest shall survive. But people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega, representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jah soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lamb's voice. Now put it. I jolly for say that.
This is Sangy Davis. It's time for the lion to Ica. For unity is strength. Let us come together, my brethren and sisters, and forward to the motherland. Enough love. This is the lion's voice.
Haile.
Jah
Rastafari.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the light. Lion voice.